The big wake-up. Zora's eyes opened slowly. She blinked once, twice, trying to focus. The world around her was blurry and strange. She was lying down, but this wasn't her bed. It felt cold and hard. Where am I? She thought, her mind foggy. As her vision cleared, Zora saw she was in a small metal room. Bright lights hurt her eyes. She tried to sit up, but her body felt heavy and weird. Suddenly, a hiss filled the air. The top of the thing she was lying in started to open. Zora realized she was in some kind of pod. As the lid lifted, cool air rushed in, making her shiver. Zora sat up slowly, her muscles aching. She looked down at herself. She was wearing a tight, silvery suit that covered her whole body. It wasn't anything like the pajamas she remembered wearing to bed. "Hello? Is anyone there?" Zora called out, her voice scratchy from not being used. No one answered. The room was silent except for the soft hum of machines. Zora swung her legs over the side of the pod and tried to stand. Her legs felt like jelly, and she stumbled, catching herself on the edge of the pod. "Okay, Zora," she said to herself, "take it slow." She took a deep breath and looked around the room. It was filled with pods like hers, all lined up in neat rows. Some were open, but most were closed. Zora felt a chill run down her spine. Where were all the people? She wobbled over to a nearby wall. There was a panel with blinking lights and a big screen. Zora touched it, hoping it would tell her something. The screen lit up, showing a message. Date: September 7, 5024. Pod 42 status: awakening complete. Occupant: Zora Smith. Time in stasis: 3,000 years. Zora's eyes went wide. 3,000 years, she whispered, shocked. That can't be right. But as she looked around the room again, she knew it had to be true. This wasn't the world she remembered. Everything looked so advanced, so different. Zora's mind raced. What had happened? Why was she put to sleep for so long? Where was her family, her friends? A door at the end of the room slid open with a soft whoosh. Zora turned, hoping to see another person. Instead, a small robot rolled in. It was about as tall as Zora's knee, round and shiny. "Greetings, Zora Smith," the robot said in a cheerful voice. "Welcome to the year 5024. I am here to assist you in your awakening process." Zora stared at the robot, her mouth open in surprise. You can talk." The robot made a sound like a laugh. "Of course I can talk. I'm a highly advanced AI. Now, would you like some water? You must be thirsty after your long nap." A compartment on the robot's body opened, and a glass of water popped out. Zora took it, suddenly realizing how thirsty she was. She drank it all in one go. "Thanks," she said, handing the glass back. "Can you tell me what's going on? Why was I asleep for 3,000 years? The robot's eyes, or what looked like eyes, blinked. "I'm sorry, but I don't have that information. My job is just to help you wake up and get moving. But don't worry, someone will explain everything soon." Zora sighed. She had so many questions, but it seemed this little robot couldn't answer them. "Okay, what do we do now?" she asked. "Now we get you ready to leave this room," the robot said. "Can you walk?" Zora took a few shaky steps. Her legs felt stronger now. "I think so," she said. "Excellent," the robot chirped. "Follow me, please." The robot rolled towards the door, and Zora followed. As they left the room, Zora gasped. They were in a long hallway with huge windows. Outside, she could see space. Countless stars twinkled against the black backdrop. And in the distance, a planet she didn't recognize hung in the sky, big and blue. "Where are we?" Zora asked, her voice filled with awe. "We're on Starbase Alpha, orbiting the planet New Terra," the robot explained. Zora's head spun. She was in space, on a space station. It was like something out of a sci-fi movie. As they walked, Zora saw other people for the first time. But they weren't all human. Creatures of all shapes and sizes moved through the hallway. Some had blue skin, others had tentacles, and one even looked like a walking tree. Are those aliens? Zara whispered to the robot. Correct, the robot said. Humans have been part of the galactic community for quite some time now. Zara's mind was blown. Aliens were real, and now they lived alongside humans. Suddenly, an alarm started blaring. Red lights flashed in the hallway. The robot stopped. Oh dear, it said, sounding worried. This isn't supposed to happen. What's going on? Zara asked, fear creeping into her voice. Before the robot could answer, a voice boomed over speakers. Attention all personnel. The Galactic Council has declared war on humanity. This is not a drill. All humans report to emergency stations immediately. Zara looked at the robot, her eyes wide with fear. War? But I just woke up. The robot's lights blinked rapidly. I'm sorry, Zara. It seems your awakening has coincided with a very dangerous time. We need to get you to safety now. As chaos erupted in the hallway, with aliens and humans running in all directions, Zara realized her new life was going to be very different from her old one, and a lot more dangerous. The adventure had only just begun. Space World 101. Zara's heart was racing as she followed the little robot through the chaos. Aliens and humans were running everywhere. The alarm was still blaring, making it hard to think. In here, quickly, the robot said, leading Zara into a small room. The door closed behind them, shutting out the noise. Zara leaned against the wall, catching her breath. What's going on? She asked. Why is there a war? The robot's lights blinked. I'm sorry, but I don't have that information. We need to get you to safety first. Suddenly, a new voice spoke. I can help with that. Zara spun around. In the corner of the room stood a tall, blue-skinned alien. He had big, kind eyes and a friendly smile. Who are you? Zara asked, surprised. I'm Zorp, the alien said. I'm a friend, and you must be one of the sleepers who just woke up. Zara nodded. I'm Zara. What's a sleeper? Zorp sat down, motioning for Zara to do the same. Sleepers are humans who were put into special sleep pods 3,000 years ago. You're one of the first to wake up. But why? Zora asked. Why were we put to sleep? Zorp sighed. It's a long story. The short version is that Earth was in danger. To save humanity, some people were put to sleep and sent into space. The rest stayed behind to try and fix things. Zora's mind was spinning. So, what happened to Earth? Earth is still there, Zorp said. But it's very different now. Humans live on many planets now, not just Earth. Just then, the little robot spoke up. Excuse me, but we should keep moving. It's not safe to stay in one place for too long. Zorp nodded. You're right. Come on, Zora. I'll tell you more as we go. They left the room and started walking down a quieter hallway. Zora looked out the windows, amazed by the view of space. So, what's the Galactic Council? Zara asked, remembering the alarm message. Zorp's face got serious. The Galactic Council is like a big government for space. Many alien races are part of it. Humans joined about 1,000 years ago. But now, they're at war with humans. Zara asked, confused. Zorp nodded. Yes, and it's a big problem. Humans have been getting stronger and smarter. Some aliens are scared of that. As they walked, Zara saw all kinds of strange and wonderful things. Aliens of every color and shape. Floating screens with alien writing. Even a room where people were walking on the ceiling. This is so cool, Zara said, her eyes wide with wonder. Zorp laughed. I'm glad you think so. Many humans find it hard to adjust at first. They reached a big room filled with star maps and glowing screens. Aliens and humans were working together, talking in languages Zora didn't understand. This is the command center, Zorp explained. From here, we can see what's happening all over the galaxy. Zora looked at a big screen showing lots of tiny dots moving around. What's that? She asked. That's a map of our part of the galaxy, Zorp said. Each dot is a planet or a spaceship. Suddenly, a lot of red dots appeared on the screen. Everyone in the room got very quiet. Oh no, Zorp said, his voice worried. Those are council ships. They're heading this way. A human officer ran up to them. Zorp, we need your help. And who's this? This is Zora, one of the sleepers, Zorp said. Zora, this is Captain Lee. Captain Lee looked at Zora with surprise. A sleeper? Welcome back. I'm sorry it's during such a tough time. Zora felt lost. Everything was happening so fast. What can I do to help? She asked, wanting to be useful. Captain Lee thought for a moment. Actually, you might be able to help us. Sleepers have knowledge from old Earth that we've lost. Do you know anything about old human military tactics? Zara shook her head. I'm sorry, I was just a normal kid before I went to sleep. I don't know anything about fighting. Captain Lee sighed. It's okay. We'll figure something out. Just then, another alarm started blaring. A voice came over the speakers. Warning. Council ships entering our space. All personnel to battle stations. The room erupted into action. People were running everywhere, pushing buttons and shouting orders. Zorp put his hand on Zora's shoulder. Looks like you're going to get a crash course in space battles. Stay close to me, okay? Zora nodded, feeling scared but also excited. This was like something out of her favorite sci-fi movies, but it was real. As they watched the screens, showing human ships moving to defend against the Council fleet, Zora had a strange thought. Just yesterday for her, she had been a normal girl on Earth. Now she was in the middle of a space war. What's going to happen? She asked Zorp. The alien looked at her, his big eyes serious. I don't know, Zora, but whatever happens, we're in this together. Humans and aliens fighting side by side. As the first explosions lit up the screen, marking the start of the battle, Zara took a deep breath. Her space adventure was turning into something much bigger than she ever could have imagined. Trouble brewing. The space battle raged on for hours. Zara watched in awe as human and alien ships danced through the stars, shooting beams of light at each other. It was beautiful and scary at the same time. Finally, the Council ships retreated. A cheer went up in the command center. We did it, Captain Lee shouted, pumping his fist in the air. Zorp smiled at Zora. See, humans are tougher than the Council thinks. But their celebration was cut short. A red light started flashing on one of the big screens. Captain, a human officer called out. We're getting a message from Earth. Everyone went quiet. A face appeared on the screen. An old man with a worried look. This is President Chen of the Earth Alliance, he said. We've just learned that the Galactic Council is planning a full-scale invasion of human space. They want to stop us before we get too strong. Zara felt her heart sink. The battle they just won was only the beginning. President Chen continued. We need every human to remember our history, our strength. We were great once, and we can be great again. As the message ended, Zara noticed something strange. People around her were closing their eyes, like they were thinking hard about something. What's going on? She asked Zorp. They're accessing their memory chips, Zorp explained. Most humans now have computers in their brains to help them remember things. Zora's eyes went wide. Computers in their brains. That's crazy. Suddenly, the room burst into action. People were talking excitedly, sharing ideas. I remember an old Earth tactic called guerrilla warfare, one person said. I've got information on ancient ship designs that might help, said another. Captain Lee turned to Zara with a big smile. This is why the sleepers are so important. You have memories that weren't changed by the memory chips. You might remember things we've forgotten. Zara felt excited but also scared. But I don't know anything about war or spaceships, she said. Zorp put a hand on her shoulder. Don't worry. Even small things from your time could be helpful. Just then, an alarm started blaring again. Warning, the voice said. Unknown object approaching the station at high speed. Everyone rushed to their stations. On the big screen, Zara saw something that looked like a small moon coming towards them. What is that? She asked. Captain Lee's face went pale. It's a planet killer, he said. A weapon big enough to destroy entire worlds. Zara felt sick. How could anyone build something so terrible? We need to evacuate the station, Captain Lee ordered. Everyone to the escape pods. As people started running, Zorp grabbed Zara's hand. Come on, I know a shortcut. They raced through the station's hallways. Zara's heart was pounding. She couldn't believe this was happening. Suddenly, Zorp stopped. He pressed a hidden button on the wall, and a secret door opened. In here, he said, pulling Zara inside. They were in a small room filled with strange-looking machines. What is this place? Zara asked. Zorp looked serious. It's a secret lab. We've been working on something that might save us all. He walked up to a big machine and pressed some buttons. A compartment opened, revealing a glowing blue ball about the size of a basketball. This is the heart of Sol, Zorp explained. It's made from energy from Earth's sun. We think it can power a weapon strong enough to destroy the planet killer. Zara stared at the glowing ball. But how do we use it? Before Zorp could answer, the whole station shook. The planet killer was getting closer. We need to get this to the main weapon system, Zorp said. But it's on the other side of the station. Zara took a deep breath. She was scared, but she knew they had to try. Let's do it, she said. Zorp smiled and handed her the heart of Sol. It was warm in her hands, and she could feel it humming with power. They left the secret room and started running through the empty hallways. Most people had already evacuated. As they ran, Zara saw the planet killer through the windows. It was huge, blocking out the stars. She ran faster. Finally, they'd reached the weapon room. But there was a problem. The door was locked. Oh no, Zorp said. The evacuation must have triggered the security lockdown. Zara looked at the keypad next to the door. To her surprise, she recognized it. Hey, this looks like the security system from my old school. She quickly typed in a code she remembered. To her amazement, the door opened. How did you do that? Zorp asked, shocked. Zara grinned. I guess some old knowledge is still useful. They rushed inside. Zorp took the heart of Sol and started connecting it to a big machine. This is it, he said. Once it's powered up, we can fire the weapon and destroy the planet killer. As the machine started to hum, Zora looked out the window. The planet killer was almost on top of them. Zorp, she said, her voice shaking. Will this work? Zorp finished the connections and turned to her. I hope so, Zara. For all our sakes. He pressed the big red button. The whole station shook as a massive beam of energy shot out towards the planet killer. Zara held her breath, watching as the beam hit its target. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, slowly, cracks started to appear on the surface of the planet killer. It's working, Zorp shouted. With a flash of light brighter than a sun, the planet killer exploded. Pieces of it flew in all directions. Zara and Zorp cheered, hugging each other. They had done it. As the excitement died down, Zara realized something. Zorp, she said, I think I just helped save the galaxy. Zorp smiled at her. You sure did, Zara. And this is just the beginning. The real fight with the Galactic Council is still to come. As they looked out at the stars, Zara felt a mix of fear and excitement. Her new life in this future world was going to be full of danger and adventure. But with friends like Zorp by her side, she was ready to face whatever came next. The big threat. After destroying the planet killer, Zara thought things might calm down. But she was wrong. The next few days were a blur of emergency meetings and frantic preparations. The Galactic Council isn't happy, Captain Lee told Zara, and Zorp one morning. "They're calling for all humans to surrender. Or else." Zara felt a chill run down her spine. "Or else what?" Captain Lee's face was grim. "Or else they'll wipe us out. All of us." Zorp looked worried. "They can't do that. It goes against all galactic laws." "Laws don't matter much in war," Captain Lee said sadly. Just then, a loud beep came from a nearby screen. A message flashed across it. "Urgent. All human leaders to report to Earth immediately." "Looks like it's time," Captain Lee said. He turned to Zara and Zorp. "You two are coming with me. We need all the help we can get." Soon, they were on a sleek spaceship heading to Earth. Zara pressed her face against the window, eager to see her home planet after 3,000 years. As they got closer, she gasped. Earth looked different. There were huge cities floating in the sky, and what looked like a giant ring around the planet. "Is that Earth?" she asked, amazed. Zorp nodded. "Humans have changed a lot in 3,000 years. They've changed their planet too." The ship landed in a massive spaceport. As they stepped out, Zara was hit by a wave of sounds and smells. It was familiar, yet so different. They were met by a group of serious-looking people. "This way," one of them said. "The meeting is about to start." They were led to a huge room filled with hundreds of people. Some were human, others were aliens Zara had never seen before. At the front of the room stood President Chen. "Thank you all for coming," he said, his voice echoing through the room. "We faced the greatest threat in human history." A hologram appeared in the middle of the room. It showed the Galactic Council's massive fleet, thousands of ships strong. "They outnumber us 10 to 1, President Chen said. "And they have weapons we can't even imagine." The room was silent. Zara could feel the fear in the air. But President Chen continued, "We have something they don't. We have the spirit of old Earth. The spirit that let us survive wars, disasters, and even the near destruction of our planet." He looked around the room, his eyes fierce. "We will not surrender. We will fight." A cheer went up from the crowd. Zara felt a surge of pride. These were her people, even if 3,000 years separated them. Suddenly, the hologram changed. A new face appeared. An alien with gray skin and cold, black eyes. "I am High Counselor Zix of the Galactic Council," the alien said. "Humans, your time is up. Surrender now, or face total annihilation." President Chen stepped forward. "We will never surrender. Earth has faced worse than you, and we're still here." High Counselor Zix's eyes narrowed. "Very well. You have made your choice." The hologram disappeared. For a moment, there was silence. Then chaos erupted as everyone started talking at once. "Quiet," President Chen shouted. "We need to prepare. Every ship, every weapon, every person. We're in the fight of our lives." As people rushed to follow orders, Zara felt lost. What could she do? She was just a girl from the past. Zorp must have sensed her worry. "Don't forget, Zora. You helped save us from the planet killer. You have knowledge from old Earth that might save us again." Suddenly, an idea hit Zora. "Wait, I remember something from my history class about an old weapon that was so scary, it stopped a big war." Captain Lee overheard her. "What kind of weapon?" Zora closed her eyes, trying to remember. "It was called the Manhattan Project. It was some kind of super powerful bomb." The room went quiet. Everyone was staring at Zora. "The Manhattan Project," President Chen said slowly. "I've heard legends about it, but all the details were lost." He turned to Zora. "Young lady, your old knowledge might just save humanity. We need to find out everything you know about this weapon." Zara felt a mix of excitement and fear. Could an old weapon from her time really save them from the Galactic Council? As people crowded around her, asking questions, Zora caught Zorp's eye. He gave her a thumbs up, a human gesture he must have learned. Zara took a deep breath. She was about to become a key player in the biggest war in galactic history, and it all depended on what she could remember from a history class she took 3,000 years ago. "Okay," she said, her voice shaky but determined. "Here's what I remember about the Manhattan Project." As Zara began to speak, she knew that the fate of humanity might rest on her words. The big threat was here, and the real battle was about to begin. The first big fight. The next few days were a blur of activity. Scientists worked day and night, using Zora's memories of the Manhattan Project to build a new superweapon. They called it Project Nova. Zara felt both proud and scared. What if her memories were wrong? What if the weapon didn't work? One morning, alarms blared throughout the Earth Defense Base. Zara and Zorp ran to the command center. "What's happening?" Zara asked, out of breath. Captain Lee pointed to a big screen. It showed hundreds of red dots moving towards Earth. "The Galactic Council's fleet is here," he said grimly. "It's time." President Chen's face appeared on another screen. "All ships, launch now. Defend Earth at all costs." Zara watched in awe as thousands of Earth ships took off. The sky was filled with lights as they flew into space. "Zara, Zorp," Captain Lee said, "I need you two on a special mission. We have to protect Project Nova until it's ready." They nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility. The fate of Earth might depend on them. Captain Lee led them to a small, fast ship. "This is the Starbolt," he said. "It's the fastest ship we have. You'll need it." As they boarded the Starbolt, Zara's hands were shaking. She had never flown a spaceship before. Zorp put a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "Don't worry," he said. "I'll teach you how to fly it." They took off, joining the stream of ships heading into space. Through the front window, Zora could see the Galactic Council's fleet. It was massive, stretching as far as she could see. Suddenly, the space around them lit up with laser fire. The battle had begun. "Hold on," Zorp yelled as he swerved the Starbolt to avoid a blast. Zora gripped her seat tightly. Her heart was pounding so hard she thought it might burst out of her chest. All around them, ships were exploding in bright flashes of light. It was beautiful and terrifying at the same time. "We need to get to the Nova platform," Captain Lee said, pointing to a large space station in the distance. "That's where they're building the weapon." Zorp nodded and pushed the Starbolt's engines to full power. They zoomed through the battlefield, dodging lasers and exploding ships. Suddenly, a huge Galactic Council ship appeared in front of them. It was at least 100 times bigger than the Starbolt. "Oh no," Zora whispered. The giant ship fired a massive laser beam right at them. Zorp tried to dodge, but they were too close. "Brace for impact," Captain Lee shouted. Zora closed her eyes, sure this was the end. But then she felt a strange tingling all over her body. She opened her eyes to see a shimmering blue shield around the Starbolt. "The Heart of Sol," Zorp exclaimed. "It's protecting us." The blue ball they had used against the planet killer was glowing brightly in a corner of the ship. Somehow, it had created a shield just in time. Protected by the shield, they flew right through the giant ship's laser. The Galactic Council crew looked shocked as the tiny Starbolt emerged unscathed. "Now's our chance," Captain Lee said. "Fire everything we've got." Zora pressed the fire button, launching all of the Starbolt's weapons at once. The giant ship's shields flickered and died. "Good shot," Zorp cheered. Other Earth ships saw the opening and attacked. Within minutes, the giant ship exploded in a massive fireball. A cheer went up over the radio. They had destroyed one of the Council's biggest ships. But there was no time to celebrate. They still had to reach the Nova platform. As they approached the platform, Zara saw it was under heavy attack. Dozens of Council ships were firing at it. "We have to help them," she cried. Zorp nodded and flew the Starbolt right into the middle of the fight. With their shield from the Heart of Sol, they were nearly invincible. They flew around the platform, shooting down Council ships left and right. Other Earth ships joined them, inspired by their bravery. Finally, after what seemed like hours of fighting, the last council ship near the platform was destroyed. "We did it," Zara shouted, hugging Zorp and Captain Lee. Just then, a message came through from the platform. "Project Nova is ready. All ships, clear the area." They quickly flew the starbolt away from the platform. Zara watched in awe as a massive cannon emerged from the station. A beam of energy, brighter than a sun, shot out from the cannon. It cut through space, heading straight for the main council fleet. When it hit, the explosion was so bright Zara had to cover her eyes. When she looked again, she gasped. Half of the council fleet was gone, reduced to floating debris. The remaining council ships started to retreat. Cheers erupted from every Earth ship. "We won," Zorp shouted, doing a little dance in his seat. But Captain Lee looked serious. "We won the battle," he said. "But the war is far from over." As they flew back to Earth, Zara felt a mix of emotions. She was happy they had won, but sad about all the destruction. And she knew Captain Lee was right. This was just the beginning. The first big fight was over, but the biggest challenges were yet to come. The big secret. After their big win, Zara thought things would get easier. But she was wrong. The Galactic Council was angry, and they were planning something big. One day, Zara, Zorp, and Captain Lee were called to a secret meeting. They went to a hidden room deep under the Earth defense base. President Chen was waiting for them. He looked worried. "We found something," he said. "Something that changes everything." He pressed a button, and a hologram appeared. It showed an old video. Zara gasped. The people in the video were wearing clothes from her time. "This video was hidden in an old bunker," President Chen explained. "It's from 3,000 years ago, just before the Big Sleep." In the video, a scientist was talking. "If you're watching this," she said, "it means our plan worked. Humanity survived. But you need to know the truth." Zara leaned forward, curious. "What truth?" The scientist continued. "The Galactic Council didn't just appear 3,000 years ago. They've been watching Earth for a long time. And they're not what they seem." Captain Lee frowned. "What does she mean?" The scientist in the video looked scared. "The Council isn't a group of different alien races. It's one race, disguising themselves as many. They're called the Shapeshifters." Everyone in the room gasped. Zorp looked shocked. "The Shapeshifters have been guiding Earth's progress for thousands of years," the scientist said. "They wanted to make us into the perfect soldiers for their galactic war." Zara felt sick. Had everything in human history been controlled by aliens? "But we found out their plan," the scientist continued. "So we decided to put our best and brightest to sleep, to wake up in a future where we could fight back." Zara realized something. "That's why I was put to sleep. I wasn't random. I was chosen." The scientist nodded, as if answering Zara across time. "If you're watching this, you're one of the chosen ones. You have skills or knowledge we thought could help." President Chen turned off the hologram. The room was silent. "This changes everything," Captain Lee said finally. "If the Council is really these shapeshifters, how do we know who to trust?" Zorp stood up, looking sad. I need to tell you something," he said. Everyone turned to look at him. "I'm a shapeshifter," Zorp said quietly. Zara felt like the floor had dropped out from under her. Zorp, her friend, was one of them. "But I'm not like the others," Zorp said quickly. "Some of us disagree with the Council's plans. We've been helping humans in secret." Captain Lee reached for his weapon, but President Chen held up a hand. "Wait," he said. "If Zorp wanted to harm us, he could have done it many times." Zara's head was spinning. "So what do we do now?" she asked. President Chen looked at each of them. "We need to find the other sleepers," he said, "and we need to expose the truth about the shapeshifters to the whole galaxy." "But how?" Captain Lee asked. "The Council controls all the big communication systems." Zara had an idea. "What about the old systems?" she said. In my time, we had things like radio waves that could travel through space. President Chen's eyes lit up. Of course, the council wouldn't bother monitoring such old technology. They quickly made a plan. Zara and Zorp would go find more sleepers. Captain Lee would work on building old-style radio transmitters. As they got ready to leave, Zara pulled Zorp aside. "Why didn't you tell me you were a shapeshifter?" she asked. Zorp looked sad. "I wanted to," he said, "but I was scared. I didn't want to lose your friendship." Zara thought for a moment. Zorp had saved her life many times. "You're still my friend," she said finally, "no matter what shape you're in." Zorp smiled, relief clear on his face. Suddenly, alarms started blaring. A voice came over the speakers. "Warning! Multiple council ships entering Earth's atmosphere." They rushed to a window. The sky was filled with ships. It looked like the council had brought their whole fleet. "They must have found out we know their secret," President Chen said. Captain Lee looked grim. "This is it," he said. "The real war starts now." As they watched the ships descend, Zara felt scared, but also determined. They had uncovered the big secret. Now it was time to use that knowledge to save Earth and the whole galaxy. She looked at Zorp, then at Captain Lee and President Chen. They nodded at each other. Whatever came next, they would face it together. The final battle was about to begin. The last stand. The sky was dark with council ships. Alarms were blaring all over Earth. This was it. The final battle had begun. Zara, Zorp, Captain Lee, and President Chen raced to the command center. The room was chaos, with people shouting orders and running around. "Status report," President Chen called out. An officer replied, "The council fleet is huge. They're attacking all major cities. Our defenses are holding for now, but we're outnumbered." Captain Lee turned to Zara and Zorp. "We need to stick to the plan. Find the other sleepers and spread the truth about the shapeshifters." Zara nodded, feeling scared but determined. "How do we find them?" President Chen handed her a small device. "This will lead you to the other sleep pods. Good luck, and be careful." As Zara and Zorp ran to their ship, the Starbolt, explosions rocked the ground. The council's attack was getting worse. They took off, flying low to avoid enemy ships. The device beeped, guiding them to the first sleeper. There, Zara pointed to a hidden bunker. They landed and rushed inside. They found a sleep pod and opened it. A young man about Zara's age woke up, looking confused. "I'm Zara. This is Zorp," Zara said quickly. "We don't have much time. Earth is under attack, and we need your help." The young man nodded, still groggy. "I'm Alex. I remember being chosen for something important." "You were?" Zorp said. "You have knowledge that can help us win this war." They quickly explained everything to Alex as they flew to find the next sleeper. By the time they found the third sleeper, a girl named Mia, the sky was filled with battles. Earth ships were fighting bravely, but they were losing. The council's fleet was just too big. Suddenly, Zara had an idea. "The old radio transmitter. We can use it to talk to the whole council fleet." They flew back to the base, dodging laser blasts and falling debris. When they landed, they found Captain Lee working on a big old radio. "It's ready," he said. "But how will this help?" Zara looked at Zorp. "You can reveal the truth. Show everyone your real form." Zorp looked scared, but nodded. "Okay, I'll do it." They turned on the radio. Static filled the air, then cleared. They were broadcasting to every ship in the sky. Zara spoke first. "Attention all ships. We have an important message. The Galactic Council has been lying to you." Zorp stepped up. "My name is Zorp. I am a shapeshifter, like all members of the Council. This is my true form." On screens all over the fleet, Zorp changed. His blue skin melted away, revealing a strange, shimmering body that kept changing colors. Gasps of shock could be heard over the radio. Zork continued. The Council has been controlling and manipulating species across the galaxy. They tried to turn humans into weapons, but humans fought back. Now it's time for all of us to fight back. For a moment, there was silence. Then, chaos erupted. On the screens, they could see fights breaking out on Council ships. Many aliens were turning against their shapeshifter leaders. "It's working," Alex shouted. But their celebration was cut short. A massive ship appeared in the sky, bigger than any they'd seen before. "Humans," a voice boomed. It was High Counselor Zix. "You may have exposed our secret, but you will still lose. Behold our ultimate weapon." The giant ship started to glow. Energy gathered at its front, forming a ball of light bigger than a city. "If we fire this," Zix said, "half of Earth will be destroyed. Surrender now." Zara felt hopeless. After everything they'd done, would it all end like this? Then Maya spoke up. "Wait, I remember something. In my time, I was working on a device to redirect energy. The Heart of Soul," Zara exclaimed. "Could we use it to redirect their weapon?" "It's our only chance," Captain Lee said. They quickly set up the Heart of Soul, connecting it to their biggest radio dish. The Council's weapon was almost ready to fire. "Ready?" Zara asked. Everyone nodded. The Council fired their weapon. A huge beam of energy shot towards Earth. "Now," Zara shouted. They activated the Heart of Soul. The blue ball glowed brighter than ever. As the Council's beam hit it, the Heart of Soul absorbed the energy, then shot it back into space. The redirected beam hit the Council's main ship. There was a blinding flash of light. When it cleared, the giant ship was gone. Cheers erupted from every radio. The remaining Council ships started to retreat. They had done it. Earth was saved. In the days that followed, the truth spread across the galaxy. Many planets rebelled against the shapeshifters. A new galactic alliance was formed, with Earth as a key member. Zara looked out at the stars, thinking about her incredible journey. She had woken up 3,000 years in the future, made an alien best friend, and helped save the galaxy. "What do we do now?" she asked Zorb. He smiled. "Now we explore. There's a whole universe out there waiting for us." Zara grinned. Their greatest adventure was just beginning.